challenge. For a long time, I was thinking like, when am I going to make another song that sounds like, like After Dark or Fear, or like any of my like big songs, right?
Hello, I'm Evie, and you're listening to the hottest thing on campus, Radio Heatwave. Today, I'm joined by 26-year-old Singaporean producer and DJ Manfred Lin, otherwise known as MYRN. MYRN is the first Singaporean DJ to play at big international music festivals such as Ultra Miami and Tomorrowland. When he was just 17 years old, MYRN taught himself how to produce music by watching YouTube tutorials at home. Little did he know that his works would soon be recognized by well-known record label companies. He recently signed with Grammy-winning record label Astroworks, home to popular international artists like Jonas Blue and Alesso. Now he's back with his latest single, Circles.
Hi.
Alright, so hi Man, how are you doing?
Hi, doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you. It's a big honor for me to be able to hear a little bit more from you too. So it's been 2 months since you have signed with Astroworks. How are you feeling now after the release of Circles? Is it still surreal to you that you are signed to them?
Yeah, I was really happy with the whole thing, and it also felt like a nod of recognition to say like what I was doing was correct, or like on the right path, right? But I think in general, I'm just quite excited to put out all this new music because it's been months since I've had any kind of original music, and it's always fun and exciting, like put music out and see what your friends think, see what your peers think. So yeah, that's been quite fun for me.
Yes, I've had the opportunity to listen to the music myself, and seriously, I love it. It's already in my Spotify playlist
Thank
now.
you.
Yes, and now in light of the recent policy changes, with how group sizes for social gatherings have increased to 10, do you plan to celebrate a little bit with the release of Circles?
Yeah, I think definitely. I definitely want to have some kind of either like a party or like just like a listening event where people listen to the music, and maybe I'll play some music as well. But really have to see what the government says about that. It's always just not nice having all these things in limbo. So like before I plan anything, I just want to wait. Like, oh, are there going to be events? Are there going to be like spaces with live music? And then we'll see from there. But I'm not too worried because I feel like with streaming services and just how music is online everywhere nowadays, like people are listening to it. It's on all these DSPs. So like even if I don't have an actual party, like maybe we can do it maybe like a year from now or months from now.
Yeah, I agree. And now zooming out, like since we're on the topic of the pandemic, let's zoom up a little. How do you think the pandemic has changed you as an artist?
It has been quite humbling, and it's also quite different, just always working on your own. Like for me, why I was attracted to electronic music so much was because it was so easy to collaborate with people, right? It was so easy to just get into a room and then either share sounds or just play off different things. So over the past 2 years, it was different. I wouldn't say tough because like I don't know, like there are tougher things out there, right? It was different to me because I was just mostly alone and I was trying to make music, and it was sometimes you will get no inspiration, but after a while I just got used to it. Found my realigned my goals, I would say, and the rest came naturally, and I ended up with this EP that is coming out.
Yes, I think that's also how you came up with your latest single, Circles, which is a song that you've written during the lockdown in light of stagnation and how it can take a toll on your mental health. So how did you find a balance between portraying the feeling of stagnation and also trying to make this song more hopeful and lighthearted?
I think I get a lot of inspiration from just regular life, like daily life. Like for me, if I'm trying to get exercise, I'll just go on like a 3-hour long walk, right? A lot of free time, right? So I'll just walk and see, just like something that really inspires me or like makes me feel nice is just looking at old people, seeing. I know it sounds strange, but like if I walk to Toa Payoh from my house and see all these like old people like playing Chinese chess or like reading newspaper, I'm just thinking like they're not in a rush. Like why should I be in a rush? And it's also nice to see like they have lived so many lives, and they're here now and they're doing fine. So for me, I really stopped thinking too much about the future and like what the future should be. Just focusing on how I feel in the present, like my friends, my family. And so I think doing those things is very easy to keep someone grounded. Yeah.
So I think aligning your goal and focusing yourself on the presence really helped, right? Then in
Yeah.
that case, what were some of the challenges that you faced when coming up with this song?
Actually, I don't think there were any challenges. I know it's messed up to say, but I think making music for me is very easy. It's very natural, and I think it's because I've changed how I used to work. A lot of the times, I would, really push myself to be like, okay, it's Monday. You need to write, 2 new songs by Wednesday. And so I feel like that kind of thinking would be very dangerous on, your mental health and like the way you make music. You're gonna start treating, this thing like a real like a pressurizing job. To me, I broke out of that, thankfully. And to me, right now, I feel like just opening up the door and just like playing around with different ideas, likely without thinking too much where they should end up, is really helpful. So that's how I just stay, grounded.
Wow, I can tell that you're really flexible and you just let things flow the way that it should be. And I can tell that
Yeah.
you're really talented too. Then with that, you actually mentioned in an interview with Buzz that you try to bring a Zoom recorder wherever you go so that you can take
Yeah.
sounds from your surroundings, right?
Yeah, I do.
So with that, what are some of your favorite inspirational spots?
Spots, man, I don't know actually. For me, it's kind of they're very basic, mundane places. So it's either like coffee shop where people are talking, swearing in Hokkien. I think that's very cute and very funny. And then I think singing. People love to like. People don't really realize, but in Singapore there are a lot of places where people just like blast like a little like, what do you call that? It was like hi-fi sets, and then they sing along. Like for me, sometimes you stand outside a HDB block, you hear like karaoke going on, and I record things like that, and it's just different. Nature is also very inspiring for me, like recording simple things that you don't really notice, like leaf crackling or like crickets. I have so many recordings of crickets because they're everywhere in Singapore, right? So things like that. And even if I put them into music and no one really can tell, like, oh, that's a cricket, but it still makes the whole soundscape a bit more balanced, I feel. Because people tend to forget that when you're making music, you are putting things in there that you specifically want, right? And after a while, that makes your music it can make your music a bit either stale or either too planned. Like to me, I like a lot of randomness, like in my life and in music. So things like that are really nice. Just putting like a long, 3-minute recording of just people talking behind, like really quiet down a sound. No one's gonna hear it, but it lifts everything up.
Wow, I never knew that tiny noises here and there made such a big difference when it comes to producing music. To me, it was just, oh, the crickets are annoying me when I'm doing my homework, that's all.
Yeah.
But wow, it really makes a big difference. And now, I would like to ask, you mentioned in another interview with Mix Mag Asia that you felt like you were making music for other people just for the sake of festivals or for them to get played by other DJs. Do you still feel the same way about that now?
Oh, now no. I used to check this site every day. It's called 1001 track lists, and if you're a budding DJ or producer, you're gonna be on that site every day because people you want to see who's playing your music, right? So for me in the past, I would make all these EDM sounding songs with like big rises, big drops, and then a week after the song is out, I'm like, who's playing my song, and that would like start to control like how I made music. And of course I thought that was a little different from what I set out to do when I was trying to put music out into the world. So nowadays, no, I haven't checked that site in ages, and I don't really care if people play it out because like the music is very, I think the dance music scene in general has shifted a lot. Gone are the days where you have a DJ and maybe he's playing a 1-hour set, and in that 1-hour set he'll play maybe like one of his own original songs, and the other songs are either just like songs on his label or like hype songs at the moment. There was like a meme or a joke back in 2016 Ultra, like you would hear the same song on the main stage at least 10 times, right? So everyone would be playing the same songs. But nowadays, if you go to like a festival or you go to a show, even those really dance-oriented DJs, they're always playing their own music, and I feel like fans can really tell like this is the guy's sound. That's why I'm looking at him, right? I don't want to come and see a jukebox. So yeah, I agree. Like there's been a shift, and then like producers and DJs like myself, I'll just end up playing my own songs, right? And other people play their own songs. So no one's really like playing too much of each other's stuff right now.
I'm very glad that you managed to break away from, comparing your music to other people and really just immerse in your own world and how your own music sounds like. In that case, how did your love for music production even come about?
Uh, it came about actually to me. It came a bit naturally because I was very lucky as a kid to get piano lessons. Right, like they weren't like super like intense piano lessons, just like once a week, and then I would just play like favorite songs, and I would learn like classical pieces to play. And then I got involved in a bit of like small like bands, not like a guitar band, but like a concert band. So I was playing the trombone in primary school and then in secondary school for a little bit. So like music has always been a part of my life, and then it only became very prominent because when I combined like two of the things I love, like one of them was computers and the other was music, right? And I found out how to make music on a computer, and then that was GG. I was just making music every single day. I wasn't studying too much, just coming home, learning how to make like different sounds and so on and so forth. That was around 7-8 years ago.
Well, I think that's what sets you apart too, because normally after, joining secondary school CCAs and bands or concert bands, after they graduate, they just stop in that path and then they start to get more immersed in studies. But actually, we
Yeah.
really dived into continue making music and even slowly starting to discover about making music from computers, which is how you ended up being like a mainly electronic music artist now, right?
Yeah.
And with that, what has been your greatest challenge as a musician so far?
To me, I don't really set myself like, to me music is an outlet, right? um I try not to give myself too much stress when I'm thinking about it. Like doing things like that, you're never gonna, if you have that kind of mindset, you're just never gonna release music, because you're always gonna be asking yourself, is this good enough? Is this good as the sound that I once wrote? But I stopped caring about all of that. So maybe that was the biggest challenge. For a long time, I was thinking like, when am I gonna make another song that sounds like like After Dark or Fear, or like any of my like big songs, right? Then after a while, I just realized, that's not worth thinking too much about, and I hate thinking so much about things, right? So just let things come how they are. Just keep on making music and just have fun with it. So like for a long time, I was always struggling to really have fun with making music, right? And then I realized, even though it's called electronic music, it doesn't mean it has to be in a computer. So like I have a bunch of synths and have a bunch of guitars, and as long as you're pressing something with your hands and like music is coming out somewhere, I think that's like a nice way to stay inspired. Yeah, at least for me.
I think that is how you continue to come up with amazing songs as well. When you don't let your passion be turned down by early things like money or how
No.
many like streams do I have in my songs. Yeah.
Mm.
And now, even though you are known for being the first Singaporean to play for Ultra Miami and big music festivals, you mentioned that you don't actually feel that that's your greatest achievement. Can you then share with us what you would recognize as your greatest achievement to date?
I don't really think. I don't really think in achievement. I think it is a big achievement. I think for sure it's also great, but it doesn't feel like mine, right? Because I think in life, just outside of music, everyone has privileges, right? It's like some people are born privileged. Like to me, I think two of the biggest privileges are money and mentorship, right? So I wasn't like super rich, but I had a lot of phenomenal, amazing mentors that told me like, this is what is good for you. And at a young age, for me, like 17, 18, most people in JC, poly, or us like working, right? They don't have maybe they can't afford that headspace or like time to like go out and seek mentors. But for me, I was really grateful to have a lot of people to like guide me, like my old DJ friends or like other producers who are older than me. So I found that mentorship, and I was really grateful for it. And I really just did what they said. They said like, oh, you should do this. And I said, okay, do this. And then, after that, I played Tomorrowland and Ultra. So I feel like those are big achievements for myself. But I feel like an achievement I want to make was really just make a record or album that I enjoy listening to, 10 years from now. Because for me, with a lot of my music, like after a few years, I'm like, oh, that sounds great, but I think I can make something nicer or something different. So I think a goal for myself is to really just make a record that 5-10 years from now I'll listen back to it like, oh, this is still great. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a very nice goal that will come with a lot of nostalgia in the future, right?
Yeah.
And now,
yeah.
to wrap up, I think our listeners will be very excited to know about what's in store for MYRN. So can you give us a little sneak peek to what's coming up next?
With all the things opening up, I think it'll be really fun to throw like a show or like a little live event. Hopefully, right? But anyway, I have that EP, the Circles EP, coming out. It's 4 songs. All I will be singing on most of them, and all of them are just individual songs that I wrote in this room. Very excited for that. It's coming out next month. Yeah.
Wow, I will definitely be more than excited to listen to it. And I think all of us are eager and just waiting for it now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.